Welcome to the Health and Happiness Show. As many of you know, I, Janet Hawkins, will be your host this evening. And I'm a doctor of naturopath, and what I offer is holistic health. It's like many times you go to the health food store and you see all of these supplements. May it be a bottle of environmental detox, may it be CoQ10, and it's like, what do I take? So, of course, we all need our medical doctor, but a lot of times people want to know what supplements are important for them to take. And that's where I come in as a doctor of naturopath. I started out studying with Dr. Jensen back in the 90s, and it was the best thing I had ever done. I studied with him for a week up in Canada, and of course, I'm sitting by this gentleman, and we started talking, and he's a doctor, eye doctor from Millersburg, Ohio. I grew up in Holmes County, and I said, this is God giving me a sign that this is where I was to be. So anyway, I started out with iridology, which I think is so important as well. That's where I look in your irises, and I can tell you your strengths and your weaknesses. Like, for example, I was just in Warren, because I do holistic psychic shows, and what I'm seeing is most people are too acidic. When we are too acidic, that is when disease begins. And how do we get acidic? It's from standard American diet. It is from soda pop and coffee and stress. And so a lot of times we'll go to stress trying to get to the root cause, to get your body a little bit more relaxed. And then also what is very helpful is the chlorophyll. The chlorophyll is going to go in and balance your pH so you're not so acidic. And then also it'll go in and clean you up because we live in a very toxic world. So what I'm doing is adding a little bit of chlorophyll to my water as well, because that is so important to keep us clean and balance our pH. And also it'll go in, and if you tend to be anemic, it can help if you tend to be on the anemic side as well. So that was one of my best sellers, was the chlorophyll. And then the next thing that I was seeing, a lot of toxins. And that's what we're going to do today. We are going to dive into the toxic America. And we're going to talk about how we can keep our body cleaner and avoid a lot of toxins. But we're already bombarded with toxins 24/7. But at least there are things we can do to keep our body clean and be on top of it. So we'll be going in to discuss that further on in the show. So anyway, I found that toxins was number 2. Number 3 is stress, and number 4 is sleep. People just aren't able to sleep in this world because they're so stressed about the unknown in the world today. So that's where, you know, maybe some stress J would be important, maybe some valerian root, maybe some anxiousness, maybe some skullcap. So which one do we take? Well, that's where I come in, and I have a client hold this up to their chest, and I put their arm out straight, and I muscle test them. Everything has energy. It may be a flower, it may be a plant, it may be the tree. Everything has energy. You know, a pet will come up to you because they feel the good energy. So everything is energy, and so it's amazing how the energy works. So I muscle test them to eliminate which ones they do not need and the one that is the strongest for them. So that's how we come to a conclusion, being a doctor and naturopath. That is the way I choose to say this is what you need to do, by listening to your body, and that's telling us what avenue we need to do. So it's not just supplements itself. Of course, we need to, standard American diet's number 1. And I think I'm going to talk about further on, probably in the next 2 or 3 months, about getting into the diet and diving into that and showing you what different things we can use. And we'll hit up on that lightly today. So I try to get to the root cause and provide a supplement for you. Just remember, one shoe does not fit everyone. We have to put it together just for you. We're all unique creatures of God. So that's what we do, and I offer that by doing just a simple consult with iridology and muscle testing. or you can come in for the saliva and urine testing. And that's very deep diving in and seeing what's going on. When I'm doing that, I'm seeing a lot of heavy metals, and I'm also seeing a lot of mitochondria is very weak, and after the age of 50, we have to support that mitochondria. So with time, you know, we have to look at the factor of the age of the client, and we have to look at the genetics as well. Like some client may come in paying diabetes runs in the family. So we'll keep an eye on that, and you know, if we start to see pre-diabetic developing, we'll get them started on some chromium and things of that sort. But anyway, diet is so important, and 2 is E for exercise. I tell you this every time I do a recording. We've got to get out there and move, and I realize it's been very much of a challenge, especially with this cold weather we had last month. So what you do is you know, I go to Super Women's Fitness Center, and I go work out there 3 days a week. I like that, but I still like walking. That gives me time to be in nature and to be thankful for my many blessings, and just to let the negative go and be positive. So I think we all need that in our world today. Now the weather's been nicer, and my little Mini, my miniature Dachshund, I don't know who was more excited about going for a walk the other day when it was 50, but we went on a 1.5-mile walk, and it was really great and very refreshing for both of us. So, you know, whenever the weather permits, you know, we're going into the springtime in the next 6 to 8 weeks. So, you know, we can start walking. Or maybe you want to walk indoors at a gym, or like at the Y. Excuse me. Or maybe you want to go swimming, things of that sort. But you've got to move, or we're going to lose. So, and then we've got to de-stress. And actually, whenever we are walking, that helps you with de-stress. It helps you let all of the anxiety going away, and being a little more confident and having faith. And then also we need to get sufficient sleep at night, and that's where we come into magnesium. 60 to 80% of the population is very deficient in magnesium. So all we have to do is take, like, maybe, usually they're in 100 milligrams, so you have to check the milligrams, and usually 2 to 4 capsules before bed works very nicely. Everyone is different. I personally tend to take 4 before I go to bed. And if you take too much, you will get diarrhea, because it's going to relax the colon as well. So just remember that, because we don't want to, say you're a teacher, or maybe you work at the post office, or you work for FedEx, UPS, whatever, and you take that and you're out delivering, and you go, whoops, I got to go to the bathroom. So you always need to kind of time what you're taking. And I always tell my clients, whenever you're starting on the magnesium, do it on the weekend, so you know your body, how your body's going to react, because we are all different. So that's what we're going to discuss. So anyway, I wanted to go in before we started. Also, we do a newsletter every month as well. And since this was the newsletter for February, which was on heart health, and we're going to discuss some of that and review it, because I did a little bit of it last month as well, but we're going to dive into it a little bit deeper as well. So what I want to do is suggest to you that there is a lot of viruses going around right now. So as I've said, everyone is different, but I'll tell you, everybody needs to take vitamin D3. I know I had to do a lecture at the show on Sunday, and I had about 15 people in the lecture. And I asked, how many are taking vitamin D3? There were only 3. And I explained to them, we're at the dark time of the year. It's now getting lighter in the morning, and it's still light till like 6 o'clock now, which is better than 4:30 or 5. But we are not getting much sun, and that's where we get our vitamin D. Vitamin D is going to help your heart. It's going to help your immune system. It helps your bones as well. So how many do you take? Well, it depends. If you have not been taking it, I would probably start out at least 4,000 or 5,000 units a day. And I have some people feedback says, hey, I feel so much better when I take my vitamin D. But the reason I'm suggesting we all take vitamin D, especially right now, there are so many viruses and colds going around. Unbelievable. So this is going to help your immune system very much so. So we've got to keep that immune system strong. So if you are exposed to this, you can bounce back to it very quickly. Now, I know that I did a show on Sunday, and my daughter-in-law, Jane, helped me. She's great supportive help. But they had just gotten over a virus, and that's where I suggest that we all have olive leaf. Olive leaf works against viral, bacteria, candida, and parasites. I always have that in my home, and especially whenever I'm doing a show, because when I came home, the next 2 days I felt kind of like, I'm thinking I'm getting a cold. So what I did is I muscle tested myself to see which one I needed. So what you're going to say, okay, what's muscle testing? So I'm going to share with you what that is. So that's where I take the pendulum, and we decide which one is best for me to take. So I'm going to hold this over the olive leaf, and we're going to see what it does for us. I'm holding that, and we're going to see what way it goes, and I'll explain it to you. See how it went back and forth? That means a no. Now let's go over to the other one, the IVH, and look at that one. See how it's going around and around and around and around? That's the one that I needed. So whenever, see how it's circling around? So that means it's very positive. And then let's try this one too, because this is wild cherry bark, and I'll explain to you. Let's try that one as well. You see how it's circling around and around and around? There it goes, swirling around. When it goes around like that, that means you need it. When it goes back and forth, you don't need it. So I didn't need the olive leaf. That's what I checked myself, because sometimes if you're alone and your companion's not there, or your spouse, then there are other ways to do that. And that's why I like the pendulum, because I went out and studied with Hannah Kroger back in the 90s as well. My daughter and I went out there, and that was like a whole new session of my life. I had never heard of a pendulum, and so I really kind of put it in the drawer and didn't play with it much. And then life changed, and I went back and I started doing it again. So it's just a good guide for you. And then at the Holistic Psychic Fairs, they have the pendulums for sale as well. So the wild cherry bark is for a cough. My daughter-in-law was helping me on Sunday, and she kept coughing because this was the after effect of her having the flu. And I gave her a bottle of wild cherry bark. By the end of the day, she was saying how much better her cough was, and she wasn't coughing as much. So I started coughing after a day, or like 2 days ago. So I started using the wild cherry bark as well, and it really calmed it down. But anytime I have found when you have a cough, it tends to indicate that you have a virus as well. So then I took the IVH, which I like this because this works against all kinds of infections. And let me tell you what is in that, okay? So it helps with the flu, coughs, colds, headaches, sore throats, and even if you have vomiting, it helps with that as well. So let me tell you and share with you what is in that. In that is olive leaf, again, and then wild rosehip, which is a form of vitamin C, and yarrow, and myrrh. And then this will help with any virus problems, sore throat, and fungus or fever. So, and yes, I took like a teaspoon of it, probably about 4 or 5 times 2 days ago. And then yesterday I took it like 3 times. And I'm feeling so much better. So I'm just saying, rather than suffer with your colds and things of that sort, there are other choices as well. So, and if you have would like information on that, when clients come in and pick up an order, I always give you a printout on that as well, because I think it's so important that you know what you're doing and why. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to recap our One Healthy Minute on the heart health, okay, that we went over last month. So we're going to bring up the little flyer here on the key steps to a healthy heart. So he'll bring that up on the screen so you can follow me as well. Okay, so there are many things that we can do to focus on our heart. So at the top you see where we have, these are tests that you can ask your primary care doctor to run whenever you have blood work done. The first one is C-reactive protein, CRP. It's an inflammation marker. And the next one is the homocysteine. It's for vascular and inflammation again. And fibrogen is a marker for coagulation and inflammation. So those are three that you might want to consider to have done in your blood work as well, especially if you tend to have possibly maybe genetics in your family for heart disease as well. Okay, so now we're going to go down here, and we already talked about it. Diet is so important and exercise is totally important. So now we're going to talk about the different supplements. So the one that I always go to whenever I see, okay, whenever I look in your eye, I always look in the left eye first. The left eye, you look at 3 o'clock, it's like a clock going around. Okay, the left eye right here at 3 o'clock, you will see a little marker, or it could be dark. That's telling me we have some heart issues that are weak. So what do I go to whenever we have that? I like hawthorn. Hawthorn comes from the hawthorn bush, okay? And it is going to go in and it's food for your heart. So you can see it right here, hawthorn, right there it is. And I like the liquids because I feel as though the liquids are much more efficient than in a capsule form, especially when you're talking about cardio, and especially if it's genetic. And we see a weakness there as well. And so what we do is we take like 30 drops at least 2 or 3 times a day. You can take 10 to 40 3 times a day, but if we're just doing it like for preventive and just feed the heart and keep it strong, fine. I would do 20 drops with water and just use a little shot glass of water and put the drops in that as well. And also that can help reduce the blood pressure as well. And especially when you add the magnesium with it as well, because we're relaxing the body, which is really, really important. And this heart is so, so important. We have to really take good care of it. Get the exercise for it. Maintain it. Take care of it. It's like the generator in your car. We need to keep it moving and moving slowly and efficiently. And then we have other ones too that we can look at as well. So I won't just say, okay, we need hawthorn. What we're going to do is we're going to muscle test. We're going to muscle hawthorn, and we're going to check on HT as well. And we're going to check on OCM. Okay, so the OCM is usually where I go to right away, because that is an oral chelation. And what that does is go in and clean out all of the debris, and that is going to help clean up. It's just like a drain that is clogged. It's going to go in and clean that up as well. And so it's going to help with the cholesterol and hardening of the accumulation that we have gotten. Now there are other choices that you can do it as far as, I like this just to keep an eye on it, but again we would muscle test to see which is stronger. Do we need the hawthorn first, or do we need the HT? So we've got 3 that we have to choose from. Okay, and so the HT is a heart tonic. And this is going to go in and work on the valves that we may need. And it's going to reduce swelling, and it's going to restore a feeble heart action and open up a congestion in the heart area as well. So that's why I can't just say, do we need hawthorn, or do we just need the OCM to do an oral chelation to clean things out, all the debris, or do we need the HT? So again, we would muscle test you and see which one is best for you, especially if there's cardiac issues and grandparents, parents, right down the line. I know in my family, my father died of heart disease, my grandfather died of heart disease, My uncle died of heart disease, so yes, I really take my hawthorn every day just to keep the heart strong. So those are the things that I wanted to discuss on that as well. And then, of course, we have the COQ10. COQ10 is fantastic. Anybody after the age of 50 needs to really consider taking COQ10. Of course, I would muscle test you as well, because it's so important to consider the age of the client as well. Now, I have a young lady coming in this afternoon at 3:30 for an appointment, and she won't need the COQ10. She's young, she's not 20 yet, but anybody that over the age of 50, I feel as though we need this because it's going to go in and support the mitochondria. The mitochondria is the powerhouse of your cell. And one thing you have to remember, okay, if you're on cholesterol meds, you definitely need to take COQ10. That is very, very important, or even a beta blocker, anything like that, because what happens with this is they have confirmed that COQ10s decline with age, and usually it can result from insufficient intake of nutrients as well. And also it can be developed as a side effect of use of cholesterol drugs. So anytime you are on a statin drug, you need to really consider taking a COQ10. And the thing is with the COQ10, you do not take any prescription drug with a supplement. Say, for example, you are on high blood pressure. Well, you know what? You do not want to take your supplements with your medication, because a lot of times there's a diuretic in the blood pressure meds, so it'll pull it right out. Always remember that. I don't care if you're taking vitamin D, if you're taking anxiousness, stress J, whatever, any supplement, do not take with your medication. That's the first rule of thumb that we always have to remember. But the COQ10 after the age of 50 is really a plus for majority of people. And I've been taking it probably since I was 50 at least. And I take 3 a day. How do I say it nicely? My schedule is very tight. I have to be on my toes, and I need the energy to move through the day and to focus. And I feel as though this really feeds my mitochondria quite well. And then I take the super omega-3s as well. And I've taken those for quite some time as well. And they have found it to be very, very beneficial in hardening of the arteries. And also it's very helpful for just the heart. It goes in and supports it as well. And it helps with the blood vessels, narrowing of them, and it'll help with that. So the super omega-3s, and I usually take 2 a day, and I take them all together. Okay, and so it goes in and really helps with the arteriosclerosis, which is narrowing and hardening of the arteries. So we need to keep everything very flexible. And also they have found that it also helps with the internal inflammation, autoimmune diseases as well. So, and this is the good fats. It comes from like the fish, things of that sort. And that's a good thing to remember when you're buying salmon or something. You want ocean fish. You don't want it farm raised where it's in a pool going around and around, because there's a lot of toxins in there and it's not the same. So those are a little bit of the summaries that I wanted to share with you before we move on. And there's one more that I want to share with you, and because we forgot to talk about that the last time. So this one is the nitrate oxide, and I was introduced to that whenever I attended my Dr. Naturopath class. Or my conference in August, which I try to go there every year. So I was introduced to this probably about 2 years ago. And I was very impressed because this improves the blood flow, and it reduces inflammation. It can reduce your blood pressure, and it can help with erectile dysfunction as well. And it helps you with recovery from exercise. And it is in a canister like this, and it's a powder. And what you do is there's a little scoop in there, and you add that to like 6 ounces of water, and you drink it on an empty stomach. Do not take it with food. and you don't eat for an hour. Okay, so it goes in nitrate oxide, and a lot of people I know have used it in a capsule form, but I like the powder. I feel as though it's much more beneficial. And then whenever clients come in, I also test them for that. And usually we've got to take care of the high blood pressure because it'll help with that, because with high blood pressure that can lead to stroke, heart disease, and it also can have problems with the kidneys as well. So that's why it's so important to take the nitrate oxide, because it has many, many benefits. It's going to help your energy. I know when I was in Warren, the one lady, she bought 2 canisters. She said, I can really tell a difference. When I run out of this, my energy's not as good. And it is very, very, I mean, we have a berry flavor, we have a citrus flavor, and I just, it doesn't matter. Whatever I have on the shelf extra, that is what I use. Right now I'm using the berry, and don't laugh, here's how I do it. I usually get up in the morning early, maybe like 5 o'clock, and then I'll take it then, or maybe 4 o'clock. Then I might go back to bed for an hour or two, and then I can get up and proceed on with my food and my eating, my regular routine. You work what's best for you. You know, I mean, if you get up in the morning and you don't eat for an hour, do it right away, take your shower, get ready for work, that'll work for you. But it always has to be on an empty stomach. And you're probably saying, what's this lady talking about, nitrate oxide? Nitrates are not good for you in your meat. That is a total different ball game. That is a process. This is natural, okay? So, and I have a printout on that I give my clients as well. And also, exercise is one of the best ways to increase your production of the nitrate oxide as well. And I know we're not 30 again and out there boom, 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 run, 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 but we're still moving. But I feel as though this is an extra perk to help your high performance as well, and to be on top of it in the cardiac world as well. So I wanted to share that with you, and now we're going to move on to talking about our main subject tonight. So let's get organized here. Okay, so toxic America. We are bombarded with toxins morning, noon, and night. Whenever I was out in Las Vegas in August, I studied with Dr. Bob from Oregon, and the reason I chose to study with him for 3 days was because getting to the root cause. The root cause, from what I was taught in this lecture, or this class, was standard American diet is creating our disease today. So here we are, we're getting near springtime. My daffodils are coming up, and so what's that telling me? Spring is right around the corner. So what does that mean? We need to go into detox. Do we need to do a cleanse? So I want to share with you why it's so important to do a cleanse. We are exposed to toxins 24/7. The standard American diet is unbelievable today. With our diet, we need to go in and consider doing the Dirty Dozen list. Everybody that comes in for a consult, I have a folder for you, and he'll bring it up on the screen, is a Dirty Dozen list. There are the ones on the right, the Dirty Dozen, those all have to be organic. Now, what we're seeing, the top of it is strawberries. Strawberries, they use so many chemicals and pesticides, unbelievable. So they always have to be organic. And if you're doing the strawberries organic, trust me, you've got to use them in 1 to 2 days at the max, maybe 3, you're pushing it. So put them in the freezer, put it in a smoothie, take it out before you want to use it, maybe in your yogurt, things of that sort. And that is the number 1, and then spinach as well. In the spinach, you can get the organic spinach like at Mark's or Aldi's. They have it there as well. And number 3 is kale. Number 4 is nectarines. Number 5 are apples. So all of these have to be organic, okay? And then with the grapes, organic as well, because they're using a lot of pesticides and chemicals on these products. And peaches and cherries. And especially like with the cherries, the red ones that come out. I love those. And I have to take a deep breath because they're not cheap. But you know, you got to maintain your body and feed it properly. You get good gasoline for your car. It's no different than to do this for your body as well. Provide it with good quality nutrients. And then pears are on the organic list, and tomatoes as well. And then celery. Especially if you are juicing celery, celery is great to juice. It always has to be organic. Organic, organic, organic. And that's one reason I personally like to go to Raisin Rack, which is in Canton, is because I can walk in and there's all produce is organic. And I don't have to search and hunt for it. And it's very fresh. I've always been very happy with that. And they've added another one to the organic Dirty Dozen list. It's now potatoes. So I have found those at Fresh Thyme, and they have them at Raisin Rack as well. So I know I made vegetable soup when it was so cold, and I had to go, and individually they had them at Fresh Thyme as well. So I bought like 4 of those rather than a whole bag. So, because normally I don't eat a lot of potatoes as well. So on the clean side, we have avocados. Now we have sweet corn, and I should have put a note on there. If you're buying corn, it needs to be non-GMO, because most of the corn, 99% of it, is GMOs today. So that's genetically modified. Anything with corn or soy is 99% of the time genetically modified. And when that was introduced back in the day, that is when autism was increased as well. And I feel as though there could be some connection with that as well. So I just wanted to share the Dirty Dozen list with you because I think that's so important. And I wanted to share one other thing with you. Let's see if we can find the Yucca app. Okay. And then everybody needs the Yucca app. The Yucca app. And what it is, I have it on my phone, and I'll bring it up for you. Right there it is, if you can get a screenshot of it. And that'll go in. It's where I zap the barcode, and it'll go in, and it'll show me exactly if it's good, bad, poor, or excellent. So all you have to do is scan the barcode, and that is Yucca. So he'll bring up the paper on that so you know what we're talking about here. It's Y-U-K-A. All you do is scan the barcode. And it's amazing. You can be at the health food store or you can be at the grocery store. You're going to get bad and poor. I mean, the ones that I've really had a challenge is finding good ketchup and good mayonnaise. They're all poor, poor, poor. And that's like one thing that I found for a great snack that I love is the Aloha. And these are the best protein snacks, and they tested very, very well. So all I do is I go in and hit the code. And we're going to hit it right now. Well, let's see if we can get it to work. There, we'll do it. Okay, very good. So that goes in and tells you that some of them are better than other ones. I have found that with those. Okay, so that's just some samples of some different things we can use. And of course, don't forget doing the chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is awesome. You just add it to your water, and it's quick and easy. So just add it to your water, and just remember how much water we need to drink a day. You take your weight, divide it in half, and that's how much water you're to drink in ounces a day. So say if you weigh 200, for example, you take half of that, you'd have to have good 100 ounces of water a day. So if you're 150, let's do 70 ounces being nice, okay? So I want good quality water. I don't want the chemical cocktail coming out of the faucet. So you have to get good quality water. You can have some water delivered, and or you can get a Kangen water machine, which I have at home, and it comes out as 9.5 water, but I don't expect everybody to do that. But there are different things you can use for your water, but you need to not drink anything from the chemical cocktail. And then also, what we have to understand, and I've talked about this before, you need to get a filter for your shower because your body is sucking up all of those chemicals through your skin. So I send them to Hartfield Hardware, and they have, it's under $100 that you can adjust it to your shower. I'm not sure of the mechanics because my husband hooked it up, but it's very simple. And whenever you need to change, there's a little tablet in there, and whenever it's expired as far as doing its job, you can smell the chlorine and you know it's time to change it. And so there's little tablets that you just replace as well. So those are some samples on what we have to do to keep ourselves clean. So, okay, we're exposed to so many toxins, it's unbelievable today. So I gave you some steps on what we need to do to clean up internally and to prevent all of these toxins from building up in our system. Of course, we can eat a good diet and take supplements as well. And we're going to talk about the different things we can use to clean our body up. So what we need to do is go in and clean up the sources of our toxins. It's hard to get rid of it. Like I said, we're exposed 24/7. So it's the air. You know, especially if you work around chemicals, may it be a welder, may you be working in a garage to maintain your car, things of that sort. So you need to really be on top of that if you are exposed to that in your profession. Because, you say, for example, if you work in a dry cleaning business, you're exposed to a lot of toxins. If you're into a printing business, exposed to a lot of toxins. So, you know, I had one lady come to me and she was having a lot of headaches. And so I questioned her on where she was working. Well, she worked in a garage, and she was in the answering service, but she was still getting the fumes. So we put her on a cleanse, and I believe they got an air purifier, and things improved tremendously. So you've got to be one step ahead of the game, but we're still not going to be deleting all these toxins because it's in our air, the heavy metals. I mean, I've been fighting the heavy metals for a long time, and what I tend to use is the Pure Body Extra. This is a spray that I was introduced to at the conference, and I do the saliva and urine testing, and it's going to tell me what level my heavy metals are at. And I was in the red zone. I was not doing well at all. And so I started on this, and it's amazing. It took me down to the green or yellow zone. Now, what you do is you take 4 sprays of this in your mouth 3 times a day. And the nice thing, it doesn't matter if you've eaten or if you've drank anything, and there's no taste to it. And that's all you do. And yes, it should be close to 6 hours apart on when you're going to do it. So I tend to do it in the morning when I get up, midday, and then in the evening before I go to bed as well. Because I find if I don't do it 3 times a day, it tends to not work as well. So you have to be very consistent and do this. So, and the thing is, I'm not a one-man company. So what we have to do is have different products. Like we have nitrate oxide, and then I, of course, carry the Nature Sunshine. I love the Nature Sunshine Company. They've been in business over 50 years. The quality control is amazing because there's no fillers. They go through and check for heavy metals, for mold, bacteria, everything. You know this is all clean. And it's amazing. And we have a warehouse in Columbus, so a lot of times I'll place my order on Monday, and I'll have it on Wednesday or Thursday. And anybody can become a member of Nature Sunshine. And it's you get a membership, and it's like $40 to become a member for 1 year, and you get 25% off and 2 free shipping a month. So it's great if you're just taking maybe some vitamin D and maybe some vitamins, something like that. But we're going to talk about what choices we have as far as cleaning us up, okay? So we just have to remember, it's our food is number 1, air is number 2, and then water is number 3. We're constantly, breathing and absorbing all of these. It's just going on and on and on. So let's go in here, and since we live in a toxic world, it's in the food, it's in the air, it's in the water, it's in the soil, it's in the skincare, it's just in everything. Even a lot of our household things that we use to clean, it's poison. So I'm thinking I'll get more organized, and we'll go through that in detail in another session. I know next month Cindy Petiti is going to be on because we think it's important to start about getting it ready for our summer planning and getting ready to plant our garden. So we need to really get in there and get busy on this, okay? So I wanted to talk to you about, how do you know if I need a cleanse? Well, first of all, we all need a cleanse. So, first question we're going to ask is, all right, I talked to you about the lady that came in and was having really bad headaches. The first time, whenever someone says they have a headache, I always go to the colon to see if we're having a bowel movement every day. Because many times when we tend to be constipated, we do not do well, and we tend to get headaches and things and feel miserable. So that's one thing I always check with that. So if you get frequent headaches or back or joint pain or arthritis, that could be a symptom that we need to detoxify, okay? So just remember, we're going to talk about our body signs that's telling us we need to detoxify. And if you have chronic respiratory problems, maybe you tend to have some sinus problems or some asthma, or maybe you have some abnormal body odor, bad breath, or coated tongue. And another thing is the chlorophyll will help with that body odor as well. If you tend to sweat a lot, if you have body odor, it'll take care of that. So, and that's cleaning you up, okay? And then if you have food allergies or poor digestion, or like we said, constipation with intestinal bloating, that's, again, a sign we need to do a cleanse. And if we have maybe some unexplained weight, and if we need to break out on our face, that's usually telling me toxins are coming out through the skin. So I know when I'm out shopping and I see somebody that it has a little bit of problems with their complexion, they need to go on a cleanse. But I have to take a deep breath and just move on. So but I'm just telling you that. And then also, if we tend to have poor memory or chronic depression or fatigue, that's telling us again that we need to do a cleanse. And especially if you're sensitive to odors, that means we need a cleanse. Okay, so what do we do for cleanses? So let's go in here and let's talk about them. Again, I will muscle test you. Okay, this is my go-to for me. This is the one that I test for the strongest. It's the Tahi cleanse. And why do I like this one? Well, I'm going to tell you why I like it. Because it goes in there and it's going to go in and it's going to dig and it's going to clean things up. So let's go in and get my paperwork here. So what we have with this one is we have 30 packs in here. 30 packs of these. And on the box it recommends taking 2 packs of these a day. I personally tell my clients to take 1. And I prefer to take it like maybe in the evening. Say again, if you're a mail carrier, UPS person, a teacher, whatever your employment is, we're going to have to take this according to your schedule. Because you can get results in 10 to 12 hours. What does that mean? That means you're going to poop in 10 to 12 hours. Well, you don't want to be in the classroom and say, "Excuse me, kids," and there's 20 kids looking at you. You know, or you're out delivering UPS and you're like, okay, I can't do this. I know Ryan, my UPS driver, he's in the military and he's in Africa, and I received a text from him, "Janet, I'll be home soon and I need to see you and get on a cleanse." So, you know, especially being over in a foreign country, that's very, very important as well. I know whenever I was in Las Vegas, I had a 4-hour flight one way. So when I get home from Las Vegas in about 3 or 4 days, I did the saliva and urine testing, the BTA, biological terrain assessment. I could not believe how toxic I was. I really bothered me. But I'd been on the plane in a toxic environment. I'd been in a hotel, in a casino for a week as well. So you can bleach your sweet butt. I started on the Tahi cleanse immediately. And this is a 30-day cleanse, and I like it because it's going to dive in deep. It's going to go in there and clean that liver. The liver is what does all of the cleaning out your toxins, and it gets dirty like a sponge. So whenever when we continue to be exposed, we have to keep on a cleanse at least every season change is the way I share it with my clients. But I tend to do it myself probably every, 6 weeks, something like that. But I'm into it deep. But for the average Joe, every season change, you have to do that. And I have some people that can tell when they need it. Their energy's down, they feel rather sluggish, things of that sort. So this is going to go in and clean your liver. It also has some LBS too, long, brown, and smooth. So it's going to open up your colon. This is why it's so important for you to drink a lot of water so you can excrete the toxins through the urine and through the colon as well. So that's why we've got to keep all of those elimination channels working very well. So we'll take one of these, and you're going to get, say, if you have leaving for work at like 8 o'clock in the morning, I would take it at least at 5 or 6 when you get home. So you are covered if you are not going to be stay home mom all day or whatever. I'm just saying you have to take this according to your schedule. So remember, results in 10 to 12 hours, and you only take 1 pack. It's going to work on your liver. It's got a kidney combination in it as well. It's got LBOs too to open up the colon a little bit of fiber in it, and black walnut in case we have any parasites. So this is the one that I go to majority, 99% of the time. So then we have another one too. It's called Environmental Detox. This is a great product, especially if you work around heavy metals. This has got burdock in it to go in and clean up your blood. It also has milk thistle to clean your liver. So it's a great combination. It has some echinacea to help your white blood cells. So that's going to help your immune system as well. And it has a little bit of dandelion in it as well, which is going to work on the liver, and yellow dock as well. So this is a great combination as well. So, we have to decide which one is best for you. And then also we have the cellular detox. And this one is a little bit different. Most of the people usually do the environmental detox or the Tahi cleanse. And this one has a little bit of, let's see what all this one has. This one's totally different. It's got ursi in it. It's got golden seal as a natural antibiotic. It has yellow dock in it, and there's a lot of different combinations. And it also has slippery elm in it as well, and sassaflower. So, but the two that most of the people like are the environmental detox. You take 1 3 times a day, or you take 1 pack of the Tahi cleanse. And then we also have another one right here as well. And this is the Clean Start. And this one is very good. What you do is you take 1 packet of the, there's a little packet in here of the dried ingredients, and take it 30 minutes before breakfast. And then you take the capsules. There's capsules in a packet with breakfast as well. And so you mix this in water and drink it. And it has a little bit of psyllium hulls in it as well, and some aloe and things of that sort, and some bentonite in it, which is very helpful as well. This one, I don't like that one as well, but it still works well for people. Again, we muscle test to see what works best for you. So those are the choices, and of course, we need to really concentrate on our diet because, we tend to, in the society today, we tend to eat out a lot. Now, I've had people on that own Soul Pizza in November of last year, and Soul Pizza is all organic pizza shop, and they have beautiful salads, organic. I mean, their vegetable pizza is amazing. There's no nitrates in their salami, things of that sort. And pepperoni is no nitrates as well. So it's just great for you to be considering planting your own vegetables and have your own garden. Now, I understand maybe you live in a condo, maybe you live in a townhouse, maybe you don't have a lot of a big yard. It's okay. You can go get a big container, fill it with some organic dirt, which Cindy's going to talk about why we should have good, clean soil as well. And you can put it outside by your door, back door, or maybe you have a little deck, you can put it out there. That's what I do. And then I will plant my lettuce, which I was thinking about planting it now because we had a nice day, and I thought, it's a little too early yet. So I will plant it sometime in March, and I will have lettuce for my salad, my sandwiches, in approximately 6 to 8 weeks. So I'm just saying it's inexpensive. You can go to Hartfield Hardware, and they have the bulk seeds there, which is much less expensive than buying it in the packet. And then you can just keep that in a Ziploc bag and be aware that you can plant it throughout the summer, because after it gets so old, it gets kind of tough. So that's why I kind of rotate mine. I'll plant it at least 2 to 3 times because I had lettuce up through November, and now, I have to buy it right now. But there's nothing nicer than going out and picking the fresh lettuce. And then, some people will want to start their own seeds now, and you can do that as well. I've tried that, and it just takes too much time with my busy schedule. So I would rather go buy the individual plant, or you can buy 6 of them and plant those around where your lettuce is in your big container. I'm just giving you ideas because you'll know it's all organic. There's no pesticides, there's no chemicals. So do as much as you can to help your body reduce the toxin load. And just remember, we've got the season change coming up. It's spring. So it's time to get in there and do a deep dive because we've been in the house. Okay, we've had the Super Bowl, we've had the holidays, we had Valentine's Day, we're having all of these things, and we kind of went out and splurged and ate some things that we didn't need to eat. And I always like to say, use the 80-20%. 80% of the time, do quality food. 20% you can be off, we're all human. And then it makes it easier for you, especially if you're on going to someone's house and you don't want to be rude, so you can just kind of pick and choose what is best for you. And remember, too, the bread, because they put a lot of preservatives in the bread today that are not good. So this is where you want to use Dave's bread. We've talked about that before. They have an knockoff at Aldi's for, I think it's like $3 or something, because if you go to the health food store, you're going to pay $6 a loaf. What I do, because I am not that much of a bread person, I keep mine in the freezer, and when I want bread, I will go take it out, and then, because it's too expensive to let it just sit there and dry out. So keep it in the freezer, and when you need a slice, you can just go get it out. So I hope this has given you some insight on what we need to do to be in charge of our body. And don't forget to have plants in your house as well. They go in and help keep your air clean. This is the peace plant and peace lily, and that's going to go in and help. Spider plants are very helpful. The snake plant are very helpful. I'm giving you ideas to have the plants in your house to help clean the air as well. Warmer weather's getting here, open up your windows. Let some fresh air in there as well. So just remember, health is wealth. You are the CEO. As we are aging, we want quality of life. We want to know who we are and what we're doing and be independent as much as possible. So if you have any questions, you can always give me a call. And I will be at the Mount Hope Home and Garden Show the end of February, that Thursday and Friday, and then March 1st as well. And just remember, health is wealth. Thank you so much. Be well and enjoy the weather, and take time to get out there and enjoy the nice weather. Thank you.
You are watching WCTV, Wadsworth Community Television.